This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So we're going to take a look at some stocks. We'll take a look here at PLTR, OneStream, NVDA, Netflix, and Google. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock about ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Here we have PLTR. Okay, daily chart. Now take a little peek ski at it. Now you can see here what a beautiful run up. Okay, so here we had the earnings, and then it rolled up very, very nice. And then we had another earnings. You can see where it gapped up and it went. Okay, the same way with here. Okay, just always look to the past, gapped up and went. Nice earnings and gapped up. So the odds are in favor of next time it has earnings, it's going to move obviously higher, kind of a situation on the earnings report. Now, what we're looking for, it had a correction. Now the 8-day crossed over the 21-day. And you can see where we put this bottoming tail here all the way at 142.34 level. Okay, so this is what we're always looking. So always look to the left. We want to look to the top of that chart, top of that chart, top of that. Anywhere we have this consolidation period, that's when we have that breakout. Now that becomes support level. Now you can see here where we are today. We're back above that 50. That's going to be very, very crucial. So what we want to watch, let me see if I pick that up a little bit there for you. Okay, that's better. Now, this is what we want to watch on the downside on a closing basis is this 154. That's going to be very, very key. If not, we lose that, we're going to come to Friday's low at 151.77. Then we have today's low, 149.37. And then we can come over here to the bottom of these candles. Okay, we come on to the bottom here. We're looking at 145.06. And then we have this 142.34, which was actually the recent low. We lose that, you can head right for that 100 SMA. Now, here on the upside, we can see here we're getting right into this resistance level. Realistically, what you're looking for is be a Friday's high, 163.20. But then we're looking at this 164.63. There's your 8-day. And then we have that 21-day at 168.52. Now, this is going to become very, very strong resistance because the 100-day crossed over that. And that's very, very bearish kind of situation. Now, you can see here when you have this oversold situation like we've had, okay, and look what happens. See, you have this nice big topping situation, but we put a double top and then she came all the way on down. So don't listen to any of these talking heads that say this is going to 200, 253. Just trade the charts. Let the charts tell you where it's going to go. If you can't break through this and you start seeing these red candles and you see a lower low kind of a situation, it's coming down. It's just that simple. Just like the bottom here, we had the bottom tail, which means it's going to be going up. So the key today is holding this 50-day. We lose that, we can come all the way down here and retest that 142.34 and possibly that 133.55 low. Now, upside, that 8-day is going to be everything. And same way with the 21-day, that's going to be everything. We get above that, then we can start coming up to the top of that candle, 172.30. We have 177.90. We come up there at 180 flat. We have 185.53, and then we can retest that 190. Now, you crack that, then yes, then you can go to that 200 mark. Now, what we have here is 43. That's not overbought or oversold. The green is below your red, which shows momentum to the downside, which obviously we have. So always look for these key flags. I always look for something that'll give me an edge in trading. When I see overbought condition, that tells me you got to be very, very leery that this is going to keep right on running up when you get to this kind of a condition. And when you have that crossover, that tells me that you got a bearish situation coming here. So let's just wait for a bottom situation. So just watch that 50-day. That's going to be key. And watch that 21-day and that 8-day. That is going to be very, very critical on the upside. Okay, let's look at OneStream here, OS. Here we have OneStream. Now, you can see here, well, we had a really nice, good run, but then we came all the way down to the bottom of this candle. Okay, you're looking at that 18.99. So all we have to do is just look right over here, and what do we have? You had 18.92 level. Okay, so there's your double bottom situation. Very, very nice, very, very clean. Okay, so what it is trying to rally up here, but you see how strong this 8-day is. Okay, very, very key. Now, Friday, we had a good run, closed above the 8-day, but it couldn't get any juice today. But so far today, we have what they call an inside day. Your high and low is the inside of the previous day's high and low, okay? So on the upside, you're watching this 120.14, very, very key. We get above it, then we go to Friday's high, okay? That's what you're looking at is 20.54, and we'll come to the top of this candle. You're looking at 27.7, and then we'll come up here at 20.99. We'll venture up there at 21.33, and then we'll come up to this 21.60 level, and then that 21.72, that's going to be very, very crucial. Now, if we can get above that, then we just look right to the bottom of this candle. Okay, you're looking at 22.64 level, and we'll come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 24.18, and we'll look to the top of that candle, 23.55 level, and then we'll come up here to this 24.18 level. Sorry about that. That was a 23.17 before we hit there, and then we had that 23.17, and then we'll come to this 100 and 200 SMA, which is sitting right around that 24.38 level. But the key to this whole situation is closing a back above that 8-day and a back above this 21-day. That's going to be very, very strong resistance. Now, on the downside, obviously, you want to watch Friday's low, 1980, and then we want to come to the bottom there at that 1934, and then we have 1922, and then 1899 is your big retest. Now, if that is lost, then we just look to the left of the chart here, and then what you're going to be looking at is 1845, and then we'll come to the bottom there, 1796. Just keep venturing down, 1769, 1738, and your retest at 1669. Now, you can see here we're really at the bottom of the chart, and we just have sideways consolidation. Okay, so it's got to be just be very, very cautious here. Okay, but again, because if we lose this 1899 level, then we're going to probably come down here and maybe retest that 1669 level. But right now, as long as we're holding it, and the longer we can hold it, the stronger it becomes, the better off you are, right? So right here, we're sitting pretty much on the bottom. We're sitting pretty much on the bottom here. We got to an oversold condition, but now we're looking here not too bad, okay? So just watch that key 8 SMA. We crack above it. There's your big target. It's going to be the 21-day. You crack above that, your big target is going to be that 24.38 level, which is your 100 and your 50-day moving average. All right, let's take a look here now at NVIDIA. Here we have NVIDIA. Now remember, the earnings are coming out on the 27th. I'm sure everybody knows that, but I just want to remind you. Now we had this really, really good run up, sold right on down, and now we're kind of moving right back up. So now what we are is, you can see Friday we went right into that 8-day and 21-day. Now we're back above it. So you got a lot of traders that get in. Now they're looking for a 5% move on this stock, so which would take it up or down about $8. Okay, so just always remember that. That's what it'll take it, about $8-9 either direction. But again, that's on the earnings. So we're going to see how that all going to shake out. So on the downside, this is what we want to watch. You want to watch that 179.11 and 178.78. Okay, your 21-day and your 8-day. We lose that, you come to today's low, 176.57 level. We'll come to the bottom of that candle, 173.81. We'll come to the bottom there at that 171.20, and then we have the retest 168.80, and then we have your 50-day all the way down here at 167.73 level. Okay, so now you can see where it sold off. It did hold that 50-day very, very nicely. So let's just see how this all shakes out. So I am long going into the earnings. I'll probably sell half before, and then I'll wait out the other half and see what the reaction is going to be. Now, that chip that they have going is they put a halt on that chip, that H20, I believe it is. They put a halt on that for some kind of security issues. So we got to see exactly what they say in the earnings call, but they're going to have blowout numbers, obviously. So what we want to do on the upside, bottom line, we'll be watching the top of this candle is 182.50, and then obviously 184.48. You crack above that, you're going to head right towards that 200 mark. Very, very easy. Now we have this negative divergence that was kind of going on here, but right now we're kind of played out. So where this thing could come right on up, you're only sitting at 61. That's got plenty of room to go. Same way with the green. It's still below the red, but the momentum here, that could curl right up here and send this thing right to that 200 mark. So let's just take a look at what the past earnings and on how the stock reacted. So here was an earnings, and you can see where it just sold right off after earnings. Another earnings period, kind of like sold right on off. Another earnings period, sold right on off. Now look at the last earnings period we had. Ran up, okay, and just kept right on rolling. Okay, so this is really, don't really have much of a tell, but if we go by what happened last time, this could roll up to that 200 mark. Very, very easy kind of a situation. So let's just see how this all shakes out. But bottom line, watch that 8-day, watch that 21-day. That's going to be very, very key. If not, we have that 50-day coming all the way down there on that situation. And obviously, if that's lost, all we do is just bring these price channels right across. See what you got there? 164 and change. We bring this price channel across. What we got there, you got 162. And then we come right over top of that candle, 158 level. And then we can come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 151. So that's all you have to do is just follow these price channels right across. And those are all your support lines until we can get right to that 100-day and possibly 200 SMA here. But let's just see how that earnings all going to shake out there on NVIDIA. We'll be looking at it again. These are not out until the 27th, which is Wednesday. All right, let's take a look here now at Netflix. Here we have Netflix. Okay, so now she's gelling here pretty good. Okay, so we had this huge run all the way up here to 1341. I wish the stock would split. That'd be awesome, but we don't know that anything yet. Okay, so now we came on down, but look at this. Look at how nice. Okay, it's holding this 200 SMA or 21 SMA. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 again. Okay, look at that. See, very, very strong. So you got to respect it. All right. Then we ran right on up here, and where do we go? Right into that 50-day. See, this is why you trade the charts. Now, if we can get above that 1229 level, then what we're going to be doing is heading just for that price channel. That'd be 1251 level. Okay, very, very easy. Then all we do is just bring these this price channels right across. Your next level is 1277. We bring that bad boy right across. You got 1302, and then we just march it right on up. 1307. We got 1331 until we hit that 1341 level. You crack that, you're going to go to that 1400 level on Netflix. Very, very easy, right? Now, on the downside, what you're watching is this 8-day, okay? That 1222 level, okay? That's what we're looking, that's what you're looking at, okay? And if that's lost, you come over to 1198. That's your 21-day, and look how nice that is held. Now, if we lose that, you can come down to 1167, your 100-day, and then 1147, which is your big, obviously your big retest, and then we have a 200-day all the way down at that 1045. Now, when we look at here at the your RSI, this is sitting only at 54. That's got plenty of room to run. We only got really overbought kind of 60, but you can see the strength that it was holding. And then when she sold off, it never went to an a sold condition. And now we're only sitting at 54. You got plenty of room on the upside. The green is over your red. That's looking like it's momentum to the upside. So actually, this is looking pretty good. So the key is getting above this 50-day, okay, 1229, and right there, okay, above that 1251. That's going to be key. You get above that, then we got a good shot at retesting that 1341. All right, let's take a look here now at Google L. All right, here we have Google, which is basically breaking out. Okay, so the high was 210.52, and now you're sitting at 210.25 level. Okay, so you're cracking this thing much higher, and obviously the next level that you're going to go to, obviously 215, but that 225 area is usually like a magnet. Now you can see here we're getting to like an overbought situation, but that doesn't. It can stay overbought. Okay, that just shows that is very, very strong situation. So right now, 210.52, I think Google is really getting their act together, and I just think this stock is going to go much higher. I'm long the stock, and I think you're going to be looking for that 225 area here next on Google. Now you can see here, if you look in the past, how we had this gap fill. That's why I always point these out. Now you can see how that rallied right on nicely, and that gap is filled. Now, you can see how strong what that is. And same way with your MACD. Very, very nice, very, very strong. Now, you look at the 8-day, okay? So you look at this 8-day upside, 21-day, 50-day, 100-day. Everything, it looks very, very bullish and for Google. So I'm long, and I'm going to stay long until it tells me not to. But I'm looking for that 225 area, and that's where I think that she's going to head, because this has been really like the laggard of the bunch here. So if you look at even like at Microsoft and Meta and Netflix and Amazon, they've all been rallying hard, and Google's the only one that's been a lagger, but now it looks like he's going to get his act together, and it's going to go higher. Now, I have that Google, that YouTube TV, and I tell you what, I just absolutely love it. You can record anything, watch anything you want. It's one price, no fees, no taxes, none of this nonsense. Turn it on. You can watch, on anything that you have. If it's a tablet, a phone, or a TV, you can go no matter where you go, you still have it. It really, really works out very, very good. Now, remember, football season's coming on up, so everybody's going to be vying for that. So this is going to be, I think it's a really good play, and I'm looking for the 225 level. Now, on the downside, what we're watching is going to be watching the top of that candle, 206. 44 level, and then we're going to be coming down here to the top of this candle, looking at 204.50, and then we'll be looking for that 8-day at 203.38, and then we obviously have your 21 SMA. But you can see here, when you lost the 8-day, came around down to the 21-day, held it, and then moving right back up. Very, very strong stock. But what I like about this, it's not like a straight up move. It moves up and then consolidates, okay? Then it moves up and then consolidates. Moves up, consolidates, and now she's moving back up again. So this is very, very good. So I think if you want to play a trade, Google, I think 225 would be a really good trade. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the old pick close, and we're going to add Ether to the equation now. The ETF, okay? Everybody seems to be liking that. That's ETHU. So we'll do Bitcoin, and then we'll do that Ether ETF, 2-time leverage. and then we'll do gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and then we'll do the indexes, and we'll see where we stand on the whole situation. Now, remember, today the Dow was down. The NASDAQ is up again here, but I think the NASDAQ up because we have the NVDA kind of situation. So we got to see. NVIDIA is going to set the tone this week. So let's just see what it all can be shaken out to, okay? So I'm also along that TQQ, plus many of these text trade. That's my trade, and working out real nice. Now, again, Bitcoin was a really good, the BITX was a really good scalp. It got as low there today as, let's see here, 54.07 and as high as 56.44. So that's a really, really good trade. I didn't get a 54.07. I got in late. I got in there at 54.40, but right now I'm still holding it. But right now I'm up that 2 points right there on the BTIX. So a lot of times when you have them sell-offs, that's what I really like. I don't like a market that rallies and then comes off. I'd rather have something that sells. You can buy into it and take that bad boy up. All right, trade what's in front of you. Not what you want.